Have you ever wondered why you feel great one day, but then maybe bummed out the next for no good reason? Or maybe you felt really creative and inspired, but then the next day you're really stressed and anxious? So, of course, there's factors like sleep and diet, exercise, and just life coming at you that all impact your mood and your emotions. But in today's video, I want to show you how you can use sidereal Vedic astrology to predict the emotions for each day. Now, just like you would use a weather forecast to plan your day ahead, see if you need an umbrella or if you need to wear a sweater, you can follow the transits of the moon over your natal chart houses to predict your daily emotions. Now, this is going to be a new video series, so be sure to subscribe so that you can follow along. I'm going to start with Aries ascendant in today's video because it's the natural zodiac and it's going to help me explain this technique for you. So, in astrology, the moon is our mind. It's our emotions and our feelings. And every day the moon waxes and wanes and travels around the earth and through the different signs of the zodiac. And he spends about 2.5 days in a sign. Now, in Vedic astrology, the sign and the house are one unit, meaning it's a whole house system. You may be familiar if you follow astrology. There's some other techniques that show cusps and that sort of thing, but we're using a whole house system, meaning that there's one sign per house and they don't cross those borders. So using Aries ascendant as a reference, you've got your first house is Aries, second house is Taurus, third house is Gemini, and so on. But if you were a Scorpio ascendant, for instance, then Scorpio would be your first house, Sagittarius your second house, Capricorn your third house, and so on. So to find your sidereal Vedic natal chart, you'll need your exact birth time, your birthday, and the location. I've included a link below in the description where you can generate your chart. And then once you know your ascendant, you'll be able to follow along with this video. Now, I'm going to use February 2025 as the example dates here because for me, tomorrow is the first of the month, February 1st, and it's also a 28-day month. And so it really lines up with the 28-day moon cycle. And for this example, it'll really pin that down. All right, so we can see here that on Feb 1st, moon will be in Pisces. And then by the 3rd, he'll be in Aries. On the 5th, he'll go into Taurus, and so on. As you can see, he's going through the zodiac. And it's about 2.5 days per sign. So now let's look at these transits in conjunction with the Aries ascendant chart, and we'll see which sign is in each house. So to understand the diamond chart, in case you are unfamiliar with this style chart, the top diamond is the first house, and then you move counterclockwise to the diamond to the left, and that'll be the second house, and then continuing in this direction will be the third house, fourth house, fifth house, and so on until you reach the 12th house. In this chart style, the houses are fixed, meaning their positions never change regardless of your ascendant. And this is just like the zodiac signs, there is a fixed sequence. So just to be clear, the order of the zodiac signs always follows this sequence: Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. And when reading this diamond style chart, also known as the North Indian chart, the number equivalent to the sign is used in lieu of the symbol or the name of the sign. This keeps it easy to read and not so cluttered up, because even though we don't have planets as examples in this chart, if you were to look at your own natal chart, you would have planets in the different houses. And so having this little number in the corner of each diamond actually represents the zodiac sign. So now I'm going to overlay the transits of February of the moon in this Aries ascendant chart, and you'll be able to see which house the moon will be in. And we'll go over each one together. So for each day, I will describe the house that the moon is transiting, the qualities of the sign, the planetary ruler of that sign, and how the moon interacts with that sign's energy. By synthesizing the relationship between the moon, the house it occupies, and the sign's characteristics, we can uncover those deeper insights into how each transit influences your emotions and mental state for that day. This is using Vedic astrology and its powerful predictive methods. So really cool. Okay, so let's look at each day for February and how it activates the houses in the ascendant chart. So February 1st, moon will be in Pisces. This is the 12th house for Aries. The 12th house is about losses, expenses, isolation, and Pisces is a sign about our dreams, imagination, fantasy thinking. It's also the footless sign, meaning that it's ungrounded. It can kind of be up in the air, kind of lofty. And Pisces is ruled by Jupiter. So the relationship between Jupiter and Moon is great. They're great friends. And so the mind can be expanded during this time through meditation, through solitude, through your dreams, and that sort of thing. All right. Now, February 3rd, moon will be in Aries. This will be the first house. So Aries is a fiery sign. It's ruled by Mars. It is in the first house of self, body, identity. And these qualities really influence the moon in quite a different way than when it was in Pisces. So the mind is going to be more geared towards more activity. It's going to be more inspired. Specifically around starting new ideas or new adventures that involve the physical self, or perhaps a new goal in life, that sort of thing. When the moon goes into Taurus, it'll be February 5th, and this is the second house for Aries ascendant. And the second house is about your values, your wealth, finances, incoming resources. It's also about food and the things that you put in your mouth. It's that sort of thing. So we've got Taurus here, and Taurus is a fixed sign. It's ruled by Venus. It's about stability, material security. It's also a sensual sign. Venus rules the senses, the five senses: touch, smell, sight, taste, those sorts of things. And Venus and the moon are both benefic planets, so they get along together. In fact, the moon is exalted in the sign of Taurus. So when the moon is traveling through Taurus for an Aries ascendant, it's feeling pretty good. It's feeling content, it's feeling happy, and there will be a sweetness to things, especially like speech, because second house rules your speech, and also it'll be good for finances. February 7th, moon goes into Gemini. This is the third house. The third house represents our courage, communications, our ideas and interests, also indicates siblings. And Gemini is a sign that is dual. It's adaptable, flexible, it's very quick and nimble. It's also curious and deals with the intellectual mind and the thinking mind. And it's also ruled by Mercury, which rules the thinking mind. So Mercury and Moon are neutral with each other. They're both benefic, but they're both very influential. So when Mercury is with a malefic planet, it can take on those energies. But when Mercury is influenced by a benefic, it can take on those. So it's kind of like a sponge. And so we've got Mercury and Moon both ruling the portions of our mind, emotional, intellectual. So this can be an enhance in our learning, networking, You can be really quick thinking on this day. It could also be a day of anxiety if you are overstimulated, and that's something to think about. But overall, when moon's in the third house, there's going to be this courage, this willpower to get things done, to communicate and share your ideas with others, and that's generally a pretty good neutral day. On February 10th, Moon will be in Cancer. This is its own sign and in the fourth house, which is its own domain. So there will be lots of feelings around being at home, being comforted, having a peace of mind, really withdrawing into your private world, not a public view at this time. You don't want to be on the world stage when Moon is transiting in Cancer in your fourth house, Aries. So Moon also governs our emotional depth, the family bonds, and the inner peace when it's in this transit. For February 12th, Moon will be in Leo. This will be your fifth house. And the fifth house is the house of creativity, romance, it's children, and also your mind. There's some imagination there going on. It's really like making speculations and that sort of thing. And Leo is naturally ruled by the sun. So sun and moon, they have a very dynamic relationship, and it can be a time of extra expression. You can be feeling like this inner leadership within yourself to take charge of your life. You can also be feeling very creative and want to just do some art or draw, or if you express yourself in that way. It can also be a confident time, because if you're expressing that truthful identity of Leo, you can be really feeling, being in the feels of your confidence. Okay, February 14th, Moon will be in Virgo. This is the sixth house for Aries ascendant, and the sixth house can be challenging. It's a Dastana house. It's the house of enemies, but also the house of overcoming your problems and challenges, and it also deals with your health. So the sixth house for you, Aries, is Virgo, and Virgo is ruled by Mercury. And like we said earlier, Mercury and Moon, they get along. They're pretty neutral with each other, just depending. And in Virgo, the mind is going to be more geared towards hard work, doing some of those daily tasks, the things that you have to get done. They're not necessarily fun. It'll also be a time for problem solving, for figuring out something, maybe a challenge that you've been having. It's also a good time to organize, to clean and reorganize the cabinets or the drawers, that sort of thing, or to really do that detailed work. If you've got something like, for instance, if you're editing a book or something like that, it would be a great time to do that when Moon is in Virgo in your sixth house. It also would give you some discipline and more analytical skills. You'll be also, you could be more critical at this time, so that's something to think about. When Moon is in Libra, this will be February 17th, Moon will be in your seventh house. So this is the house of marriage, relationships, partners, business partners. And Libra is the sign of diplomacy, balance, relationships. It really wants things to be kind of even kill. And it's ruled by Venus. And so we know that Venus and Moon are both benefics. And so generally this is a pleasant time for the Moon. And this could encourage love, agreements, compromises, more social interactions with people. This could be the Moon. Your mind is going to be focused on your relationships, especially if you're married. It'll be on your spouse. February 19th, the moon will be in your 8th house, and this is Scorpio. So 8th house is like the 6th house. It's a challenging house. It's a Dushtana house. It's a house of mystery and hidden information. It's also a house of sudden transformations. And when it's Scorpio is involved, there could be these like hidden depth or secrets. There could be power struggles involved. So when the moon is in this house for you, Aries ascendant, it could feel bad. It could be more of an emotional, vulnerable day. This is the house of your emotional attachments. And if you have any unhealthy emotional attachments like a fear or anxiety, they could come up at this time. So on February 19th, I would say when moon is transiting your 8th house, it could be a time where you may not be feeling your best. And so if you wake up that morning and you're like, what's going on? I was feeling just fine yesterday, then you can kind of have comfort in knowing that it's the stars, it's the moon, it's the universe testing you. And it could be a great time to maybe declutter your house or just spend some time within and just take it slow and that sort of thing. On February 22nd, moon will be transiting the 9th house. This is Sagittarius. And the 9th house is a Dharma house. It's higher learning. It's a house of good luck and fortune. It's also about your teachers, your gurus, your father. And the sign of Sagittarius is very philosophical. It's about your beliefs. It's an adventurous sign, so there could be some travel here. But more or less, there is wisdom and knowledge in this combination. So this would be a great day for you to learn something new, to expand your learning or your education on a subject that you may already be studying. This Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, so Moon and Jupiter are great friends. This is going to be about expanding your mind, expanding your knowledge, and even your spiritual growth as well, because the 9th house is a house of spiritual advancement. It's coming after the 8th house where you weren't feeling so good, and so the 9th house is like, okay, hey, I'm looking for something with some meaning behind it. And so your minds and your thoughts and emotions could be geared around that at this time. February 24th, you've got Capricorn moon traveling through your 10th house. So this is the house of career, your status, your authority. It's the world stage. The 10th house is in the public eye. And with Capricorn being there, Capricorn is about ambition, discipline, hard work. It's ruled by Saturn. Saturn brings responsibility, long-term success, and boundaries, and can be limiting and restricting. So it's really about kind of dialing in that effort, and your mind and emotions will be focused around your career and how you're seen on the world stage. February 26th, moon will be in Aquarius, which will be your 11th house. The 11th house is kind of a tricky house. So it's the house of gains and networks, and it's of your highest desires and ambitions. And it's also a house of friends, large social circles, charity organizations, these sorts of things. It's where you're sharing your greatest work, right? And it's also ruled by Saturn. So moon, I don't think I said this with Capricorn, but moon and Saturn can be stressful. It can be because of that restrictive nature that Saturn brings, and the limitations and the responsibility. The moon wants to have peace of mind and wants to be content. So when it has all this pressure put on it, it can be stressful. But if you've got all of your ducks in a row and you've been doing all the right things and you're living your life the way that you feel you are being fulfilled and that you're living your destiny, then this 11th house transit is going to be very rewarding for you. All right, and then February 28th, we come at the end of the month, and we're coming back to Pisces again. So it'll be, moon in Pisces. It'll be that more inward reflective time. Maybe you want to stay at home, do some meditation, watch a movie, maybe get some extra sleep, and also pay attention more to your dreams. So just to recap on the lessons of this predicting your emotions using the moon, using Vedic astrology, just remember that each moon transit activates a different house in your natal chart, and this influences your emotions and your focus. The sign's planetary ruler gives you clues about how the moon interacts with that energy. And then by tracking the moon's movement, you can anticipate emotional shifts and plan accordingly. So if you are planning a big event such as a wedding or a vacation, you may not want to pick a day where the moon is traveling through one of those Dastana houses, right? Because you may be met with some challenges. You may not be feeling your best. The 12th house I didn't mention is also a Dastana house. So there could be some kind of depressing vibes, and just not feeling your 100% like top game. So just keep that in mind, and you can go through and look at where these transits are for the month and, plan your life accordingly. So you can kind of overcome any kind of roadblocks that might appear. So I hope you guys found this helpful. And I do want to say that you can follow the transits in my Vedic astrology report. I put one out for each year. So far, we've just put out 2025, but this will be the first year, and I'm already working on 2026 to have that out as soon as possible so that you can make these kind of plans and look at your chart and use it as the tool that astrology is. So with that being said, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you later.